All right, what's up, Rye?
Hey, what's up, Phil?
So it was funny. I knew we had to get together for about 10, 15 minutes tonight. So last night, I knew when we were discussing the recap for the Super Bowl Sunday night, I got a page on my phone and it said, must see, how does this go in? Paige Bueckers launches deep three that takes massive bounce before falling as number two, UConn tops number one, South Carolina. 63 to 59 in overtime. And then I said, Rod, did you see that page? You're like, yeah, Phil, you said I was watching the game before we came on. You said, but oh my gosh. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. She was ranked number one, the number one top prospect coming out of high school.
That's right.
Um,
Yeah, she was the number one prospect.
there's not much else to say. I mean, you can see why she was ranked number one, and now she's at UConn with her fellow classmate that just joined there, Sailor Poffenberger. As we know, she's right out of Middletown. She went to Middletown High School right here in Maryland. So actually, right down the street from Dempsey's, huh? One of
Yeah,
our
that's
local
right. That's right.
one of our local sponsors. But I mean, talk about this girl, Paige Bueckers, is doing some stuff that I think I read like Sue Bird, Diana Taurasi. Some of them has never accomplished, and some of the greats that went through Stores, Connecticut, to get to the WNBA. And I have to imagine that if this young lady continues this style of play, that we'll be seeing her go first round if she has any intention in playing in the WNBA.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I could definitely see her going in the first round. And it's kind of amazing. I mean, she's only a freshman. She's played in 13 games, and she leads the team in points, assists, and rebounds. And she scored 30 points in three straight games. So she's on quite a hot streak now. And I think you said they only have about 7 or 8 games left before the big tournament. So they're heating up at the right time. UConn's only loss on the season was to Arkansas, only by 3 points. So this UConn team's on quite a tear again, and I know they have the longest win streak in college basketball history. I forget how many 100 games they won in a row, how many titles they won in a row, back to back, two or three peat. So this team has a lot of history, and I think this year they might possibly rise to the top again.
Yeah. So let's go over their roster. I mean, last night when I was looking over the highlights of Paige Bueckers in last night's game, I saw the lineup though before the game and a lot of young talent. I don't think there was one senior player that Gino was starting um, under under his belt last night, and it was I think it consists of a couple freshmen and then you had some juniors uh, on that squad for the starting lineup. Um, so UConn has Paige Bueckers leading the way. It's crazy because she's just a freshman, right?
That's right, just a freshman.
And she's already taking control of this team. It seems like that this is a. It seems like it's almost like a rebuild year if you go down and look through the class. But under Coach Gino Ariema is never a rebuild year. I mean, you
Yeah,
told me this is this school obviously for women's basketball is number one for recruiting.
no, for sure. And with their coach, he's one of the best coaches in men's and women's college basketball. One of the best. They always have one of the best recruiting classes, and it looks like most of their team are freshmen and sophomores. So maybe most of their players are gonna be around for 2 or 3 more years. So this UConn team definitely has a lot of improvement, a lot of room to
Bright
to
future,
even yeah, they have very
right?
bright future.
Paige Bueckers, Kristen Williams, um, Olivia Nelson. I think it's Ododa. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
And then of course you have uh, Alea Edwards, Sailor Poffenberger, Aubrey Griffin, Muir McLean, um, Autumn Chasen. Oh, again, we're Avina Westbrook. It's a lot of young talent because back when 2017, 16 or 17, um, they had you mentioned that they had that big win streak. Um, That was it was 2000. If I remember, it ended in 2019, I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
believe so.
but yeah, it was 100 some games that they went in, and I think Baylor ended the streak. And Baylor stopped the Husky streak of 126 games in the regular season winning streak. I don't know. I know I talked to a couple people during that time when that was happening years ago, and it's hard to believe that we will ever see anything like that again because of the. Again, I'm not doubting it when it comes to Coach Gino. You know what kind of coach he is. He's a legend, but man, I mean, when you have girls always coming into the program and then leaving so quickly, that's what amazed my mind so much it was done in college. It wasn't the WNBA. It wasn't the
That's right.
professional level. This
Yeah.
streak was done in college with girls always moving in and always moving out.
Yeah, it makes it even harder to do. You don't have in the WNBA or the NBA players signing long contracts. You have the same players every single year. In college, they go onto the draft to the WNBA and sign with new teams, and you have new freshmen coming in trying to learn the plays and all the screen plays and trying to get used to all the coaches and the college life and their new teammates. So that makes it even harder. So Gino, that definitely makes him and his coaching staff one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just wanted to inform everybody that listens to this podcast now that we will be covering Connecticut a lot, considering that Sailor is right from Middletown, Maryland. So we're going to be on this team a lot for the next 4 years, and maybe more, huh? I mean, because you never know what's going to happen when it comes to this team. I mean, we may see another big streak start again. I know I told you that compared to NBA, or I like to compare it to WNBA in this case, but Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart, I like to think of that duo because now that it looks like to me, man, not to take anything away from any of these other girls on the roster, but I haven't had a lot of time to see these other girls play in high school or in college. But I think when the time comes, a year or two, maybe 3 years from now, once they start really dominating, which I think they will, with the talent up and down on this roster, I think Paige Bueckers and Sailor Poffenberger might be the duo, the top duo in NCAA D1 basketball. And if you want to compare them to like a LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, or a Sue Bird or Brianna Stewart, I really think it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's very
Because we had time to watch Sailor play in Middletown
right.
where a lot of people didn't. So I mean it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah, and Sailor was the main point guard on Middletown. So with Paige being the main point guard on Uconn, being the number one player on this hot streak, now Sailor came to Uconn a couple months late. So probably next year, this year she probably won't play that much. She only gets a couple minutes every game.
Right.
At the end of the game when Uconn's up by like 20 points. And she actually scored her first points the other night. She hit her first 3-pointer, so congrats to her on
Did
that.
she really?
Yeah,
Congratulations to her then.
yeah, but
All right.
you can I think
Well, I knew you mentioned to me though. You knew you mentioned to me something about Gino possibly in the years ahead. He may use Paige Bueckers as that main point guard, and then
yeah
have Sailor play more of a forward position because of her height. I think Sailor is just a little bit more bigger in size and height wise than Bueckers. So I mean, man, with the talent, that's a big threat, man, for other D1 teams because it can get scary when you have size inside and then a threat on the outside. I've always said point guards. I like the smaller kind of point guards, right? With the smaller body style, they have the
yeah
tendency to move around better, and you never know with the end around routes. The pick and rolls is what we call them.
right.
Man, look, it's so hard to cover teams like this, man. It's going to get fun. I'll tell you.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes Sailor such a good player is because of her height. and her size, she doesn't have to play that point guard role every single night. She can move around to that forward position, or maybe even play inside and get those rebounds and kick it out to Paige. And it's going to be exciting to watch this Uconn team for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4 years to see how much they grow and see what kind of future they have.
I know we mentioned about watching Larry Pryor, the boxer we interviewed back in in the fall, the summer or the fall, when we first started. And yeah, I can't wait to see. I remember that we mentioned about traveling around to see him. I can't wait to see how many times that we'll have the privilege, hopefully, to be attending some Final Four games or even championship, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that would be awesome, man. To watch them play, that would be a pleasure to watch them play.
Yep. Hey, so before we get on out of here, you wanted to discuss the NBA standings, current NBA standings. Ryan, it looks like 76ers are on the top. You cover NBA better than better than I can, and then you have Utah Jazz in the number 1 spot. So kind of a little surprised, man, because Utah, man, we didn't expect them to do a whole lot. Of course, you have Los Angeles right behind them, but what's happening there? The Utah Jazz making some noise.
Yeah, I think the Utah Jazz went on like a 10 or 11 game winning streak at one point. They were really on a tear, and now they're back on a 4 game winning streak. So, and you have the Lakers also on a 4 game winning streak. Of course, the Jazz hold the top spot. Lakers right behind them. Then you have the Clippers. They're on a 2 game losing streak. A little bit of a slide. They did have the top spot. They were in second. Now they're in third. And I know he did an episode on Devin Booker and the Phoenix Suns. They look pretty solid still. That's kind of what I expected out of the Suns. I knew they weren't going to be the top team, but I expected them to be a pretty solid team that you can count on down the stretch. And then in the Eastern Conference, the 76ers have the top spot. I know they went on a little bit of a winning streak at one point. And now you have the Bucks heating up. They're on a 4 game win streak, game and a half behind the 76ers. And of course, James Harden signed with the Nets like most people expected. So they have Kyrie, KD, and Harden. They're in the third spot now in the conference. They'll probably be pretty dangerous when it comes playoff time, but that's the standings for now. So I think you can probably expect the Bucks and the Nets to make a run at that top spot further down the season, and keep an eye out for the Suns. They might lurk behind for a little bit, but I think they might be a dangerous team, and they could definitely knock off the Clippers.
You still have LeBron James coming through?
Yeah, I mean, man, I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
The
do
Lakers.
Do you still have?
The Lakers are such a good team with so much talent. It's just hard for me to pick a team above them. But I think the Jazz and the Clippers and maybe the Suns they definitely have a chance against the Lakers.
All right. Most likely, I'm going to reach out to a couple people possibly this Saturday. We're going to have an interview. But for now, I'm going to let you go, Ryan. The connection looks like it's a little bit poor on your end. I'm going to go and let you go, and we will possibly see you on Saturday.
All right, I'll see you.